everybody. Welcome to the Ball is Life podcast right here on Slowpitch World Network. We have a special guest today, a new senior, Miken Easton Worth 40 plus pro player, Mr. Mickey Zarr. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. The daily grind, the normal grind. I'm pretty sure you know about that. We're gonna
hmm
get into a lot of things you do because it's not just about slow pitch for you. But so tell us a little bit about yourself. We're obviously going to get into the questions and everything, but tell the people about yourself a little bit.
I was born in Wisconsin, West Allis, Wisconsin. I was there for, let's see, first 31 years of my life, and then I moved to Arizona. I've been in Arizona since then, so about 14 years. Played baseball as a kid, starting with T-ball. Um, Played that through high school, and yeah, I mean that's about it as far as that goes. But yeah, just those two places for me as far as living goes. My parents or my dad still lives back in Wisconsin.
Okay. What made you move to, you said Arizona, right?
Yeah,
What made you
uh,
move to Arizona?
the weather. I mean, that's the biggest one. Um, I luckily I had quite a few friends that already lived here, so the transition was pretty easy. I actually came out here for a Packer game one time when they were playing the Cardinals, and a bunch of us went, and I was like, man, this place is great because we had gone to Old Town and whatnot, and I was 30 still, so I was like, wow, this place is great, and I'm like, I'm gonna move here, and they're like, yeah, right, everybody says that, but 6 months later, man, I was here.
So I was recently in, just to kind of have, like I said, we'll have a conversation, but I was recently in LA. Took my wife to LA. We met up with a coworker slash friend of hers. And her mom was with us when we met up for coffee and just some like regular appetizers, type deal. She absolutely hates Arizona. She said it is the most non-colorful state or city she's ever been in.
Are we? What sense did she mean that in?
She said it's very just bland, very,
Landon? Okay.
very like it doesn't have the tones of color. It's very just tan or light tan, dark tan. There's no like big pops of color, whether it be red or pink or purple or like vibrant colors. She said it's very just kind of mute or monotone colors. Is
That
that true? Because I've never been. So
I mean that's pretty accurate. It is it's in the desert, so you get a lot of rocks, a lot of desert landscape. It's not the desert here in Phoenix proper where it's the sand desert. You have to go out, to the outskirts of Arizona and California to get that kind of desert. But um, it's a lot of those colors. Yeah, the houses too. You get that desert clay color, that brownish reddish color.
that's exactly what she said. It's very
Yeah, there's a
clay
lot.
colored, like
Yep,
that type of deal.
there's a lot of that. Yep,
So how was the transition? You said you moved at what age? 30,
31, 30,
31.
31.
So what was the transition like? Because I mean, I was actually, just so you know, was rooting for the Green Bay Packers this year.
hmm
I'm a Dolphins fan, but once my Dolphins was gone, I wanted love to, bring one home. What was the transition like as a grown man, 30, 31? You're a grown man, um, moving from someplace that is very cold to now moving to Arizona? What was that transition like?
Um, it was great. I got rid of my snow pants and my snow boots and all that stuff. I didn't really need it much anymore. I traveled pretty light to come down here. A lot of shorts. Um, I will say though that my allergies got a lot worse
Really?
because there's a lot of dust in the air, a lot of that down here.
Wow. I moved from New York City. I'm originally from New York City. I moved from New York City to Florida in 2012. A lot of people that watch already know this. And my allergies really got better. Now I know Florida is different than Arizona as far as weather and dust and all that, but my asthma, my allergies, everything just got so much better. Now I live in Maryland and it's kind of horrible.
Do you think that's because of, I mean, what do you think it's because of air quality or
um,
living in the big city, or what do you think on that?
I don't know because, like I said, I lived in New York City. I played sports my whole life. Then I moved to Florida and I played softball 7 days a week,
Hmm.
honestly. League night, Monday through Friday, and then tournaments on Saturday and Sunday. And I never needed an asthma pump. I never had allergies like that, never had none of that. And then I moved back to New York in about like 2019, 2020, like when the whole pandemic started.
Hmm.
Now I've, lived in Maryland since 2021, but my asthma acting up, like I get the same amount of congestion and everything I did when I lived in New York. And I didn't have that in Florida. And like I said, I played and I'm a big boy, like I should be having asthma attacks running to first. I'm just saying. So I don't know what I equate that to, but it's weird that your allergies got worse
Yeah.
moving out there. But again, it's different. Like you said, the dust and everything, and I'm guessing you're equating that to like the desert
Yeah.
type dust.
Yeah.
So,
And let's see what else was different. Obviously, dry heat. So you don't get a lot of humidity here in Wisconsin. In the summer, you take a shower and you don't dry off pretty much the rest of the day. Um, quite a bit of humidity. Here, there's barely any. During monsoon season, August, September, we'll get a little, but it's nothing compared to home, back
oh
home.
wow, okay. And how is the Arizona Cardinal fans treating you?
Well, Eric, I mean, I don't know if you know, but here, a lot of the people that live here are from somewhere else.
It's like okay,
You have some people that are Phoenix natives, Arizona natives, but the vast majority of people that live here are from somewhere else. So you get a lot of people that are, Niners fans, Seahawk fans, Bears fans, Packer fans, Giants,
so
Jets, that kind of
they're
stuff.
kind of like transplants,
Yeah, a
basically.
lot of this. That's what Phoenix is a big transplant city. Arizona as well.
Interesting, very very interesting. All right, well, let's dig into your I know we talked about football a little bit, but let's dig into when did you yeah, I know you said you played T-ball.
Hmm.
Um what age did you realize you wanted to play baseball?
Oh man, at a young age.
Did you like baseball, like watching it with, your dad, maybe your uncles or big
Remember watch,
brother or something
remember
like that?
watching the Brewers. Remember watching the Brewers when I grew up. When I was growing up, uh, Juan Nieves had a no hitter when I was a kid, and that was a pretty thrilling moment for us Brewer fans. I obviously don't remember '82 because I was only 4 years old
Right,
when they went to the World Series and lost against the Cardinals because that's when the Brewers were in the American League.
right,
I don't remember that, but the baseball's been rough in Milwaukee for a long time in my whole life. We haven't
right.
won anything, so
So what
um,
keeps you a fan?
it's just where I mean it's where I'm from.
Gotcha. Okay.
I mean,
So
it's we go to D-backs games, but that's not my team.
right. So growing up, you kind of geared towards baseball more than any other sport, like
Yeah,
football.
yeah, I would say. I mean, I played football a little bit in high school, but baseball's always been the thing for me.
Okay. What about baseball did you like over football?
Uh, well, I think I was better at it. That usually helps.
Okay. A little
um,
bit.
I think since I was little, I think I've always had a pretty good arm. So I pitched, and I was halfway decent um, in high school and whatnot. So I liked it. I did like it because I was good at it. I mean, obviously I had to work a little bit.
Right.
I didn't work nearly as hard as I could have. I spent a lot of time in high school. I'm assuming you figured this was going to come up sooner or later, but I spent a lot of time partying in high school.
Yeah.
A lot of drinking in high school, and uh, it sucks because I had a pitching coach who was a very good coach. I still talk to him to this day. Um,
Mhm.
I think I disappointed him in that, and I definitely look back and man, I wish I could do it all over again.
Do you?
Yeah, I wish I could go back and train and I mean the time I put in now to slow pitch softball, man, I wish I could go back and put in the same time uh, on hardball. Back when I was in high school,
Right.
uh, I would pretty much give it almost for anything to go back and see what could have happened.
Interesting. Interesting. Well,
Especially now that I'm sober, 10 years sober. So and I look back and say, wow, I was a real screw up.
no, we're gonna get into all that. I don't think you're a screw up. I believe that everybody has a testimony and a story to tell. I don't know if you're religious or not. If you are, cool. If not, cool as well.
Yep.
Um, I believe you were put on a path to where you're going to be because I'm pretty sure there's other obstacles in your life or other things that happen in your life that if you were sober and you didn't party as much back then, you could have changed the trajectory of your wife's life. You could have changed the trajectory of your life,
Hmm.
um, for good or bad. We really don't know, and but yeah. So when did you get into slow pitch softball then? Because you said you played hardball in high school. You played a little bit of football in high school as well. Um,
Oh yeah, go ahead. Finish up. Sorry.
when did you get into slow pitch? Because I feel like slow pitch softball for us is the itch of competitiveness that we want.
Hmm.
Um, so it's like we're scratching the itch, but some of us, you, are
Hmm.
better than others. So when did you get into slow pitch, and who introduced you to slow pitch?
So I worked well when I was in my early 20s. I worked at numerous bars, tending bar and whatnot, and this place that I worked at called the Harp in downtown Milwaukee. Um, I had some friends there who played just bar league, right? Bar league softball. A lot of the guys were older. There was a couple of us that were, in our low 20s, and um, it was a drinking thing. We'd drink before and we'd go there and play and whatnot. And that's how kind of how I got started on it. And um, it was a lot of fun. I, played outfield, which is where I played now, and when I played in high school when I wasn't pitching. So um, outfield was always fun for me. So I'm like, yeah, gives me an opportunity to drink with my work buddies, even though we drink at work every night when we're there anyway. But this is a chance to get out there and play some ball too. So that's kind of how I got started on it. Um, and there was one situation before I forget where um, a couple of us younger guys went out before our game and had a little too much fun, and we showed up and there was a rule that said nobody under 30 was allowed to drink before the games anymore
Oh wow, that bad. Woo,
because we had a little too much fun that day before we showed up. So
gotcha. Now we're talking what age you started playing slow pitch?
probably 20, 22, 21, 22, from what I can remember.
2021.
No, I'm sorry.
2000.
My
Oh,
age.
your age,
Yeah.
21, 22 years.
So we're talking 20, almost 25 years ago.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
probably
Okay.
around 99, 2000.
So what bats were they using back then?
Oh my gosh, I don't even remember.
Were they like aluminum bats, aloe bat? I know, back then it was different because my dad played slow pitch, but growing up in the Bronx, a lot of people don't believe me on this, but growing up in the Bronx, we played with the clinchers. I don't know if you're familiar with the clinchers, the big white balls that are
Yeah,
kind of
Chicago
sponge.
ball, the big one. Yeah, they call it Chicago ball.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it was 12 inch still. Like Chicago plays with like a 16 inch, and I know they
Yep.
play sometimes other places with a 16 inch or whatever.
Okay.
But um watch my dad playing slow pitch softball, and it wasn't really slow pitch now that I think about it. It was like almost slingshot or modified pitch where you couldn't go all the way around. You can extend your arm back and then just slingshot it. Um, but we played on, well, he played on gravel because in New York City, there wasn't really, the only grass they had was they were smoking it. So, But um, so do you remember the bats that they
I
used to
don't.
that you? Okay,
I don't even think I owned one at that time. I think I just borrowed my buddy's bats who had them at that time.
okay,
I don't remember.
okay. And you've always played the outfield, right?
Yep, when I wasn't pitching. Yeah, and I don't pitch in slow pitch.
I
Don't
was I was
let's
just
not.
about to ask.
Yeah, let's not throw that in there. No, I'm a thrower. I'll get in there and throw some BP or whatnot. It's sometimes it's accurate, sometimes it's not. But no, I'm an outfielder. I can play all the outfield positions and whatnot.
Okay. Favorite position in the outfield, and are you running four man or are you running three man?
Preferably three man. I'd rather not play four man outfield, especially on defense because I like to run. I like to run a lot, and I like to. I don't want that danger of running into somebody out there.
Right.
I don't. I like to have my own pasture to run around out there.
You heard him. You heard what he said. So if you see this man on the field, you know they're running five man. Just saying. I mean,
Yeah, like
um,
I'm one of the few 40 and over guys that like to run around out there
I
a
was gonna
lot.
ask you, is there many 40 and over guys that are okay with playing three man? Because I can't really think of there's a couple. I know a couple, but I can't think of many that they kind of use the excuse of, "Oh, I'm old. If I don't got to run, let's save my energy." So I don't think there's many of you out there.
There there's not. I already know people. I think it just comes with age. No one likes to run around. I mean, I don't think it's I think my life's kind of been reversed in a way. You know, when I was in my 20s and sitting on a bar stool, I didn't want to run around either. But now that I'm in my 40s, I'm like, hey, let's run around. So I'm
Right,
okay with it too.
right. Well, we brought it up a couple times. So again, if you don't want to talk about it, I know we had some kind of off air
Yeah.
conversation about it, but what made you get sober? What was the defining moment that you said, you know what, I can't?
So when I worked after I worked in bars and restaurants, I started working for a beer company, a beer distributor. And then when I moved to Arizona, I was lucky to um, get a job with a beer distributor out here, Crescent Crown Distributing. I worked there in sales, and uh, I was working there. It's actually kind of reminds me of softball. I moved up really quick, kind of like how I did in my softball career. I started out as a sales rep, then I was a trainer. I was training sales reps, and then I got moved up to a key account manager, handling all the resorts in the valley, which are there's some real nice ones here, as you probably know.
Right.
Um, and 6 months into when I was handling resorts, let's see, rewind a little bit. Couple for a year and a half before that, I was kind of being I don't know if the word's groomed or the word groomed is the right word, but being set up to take over a position with Corona or Crown Imports.
Okay.
I was gonna move from the distributor side to the supplier side, and I was told it was pretty much a done deal. And once the gentleman who was kind of grooming me moved on to his higher position, that position became open, and the Corona went to the distributor and said we would like to hire Mickey, and they told him that they could not, and they blocked me from doing that. Um, they said if you take him from us, you'll be our relationship will be a lot different than it is now. Something to that effect. I was told was the conversation.
Wow.
Um, and man, that hurt me a lot. Uh, I'm usually not the kind of person that has like a downward spiral, or I'll go out. I wasn't the kind of person that would go out and get, real drunk if one thing in my life didn't work out. But for some reason, that one stunk. So I went out and went on like a 2 week bender and didn't go to work, and it got real bad. I was drinking at home, and um, At some point, I think I spilt beer on my phone, and my phone didn't work, so nobody could get a hold of me, and I would just walk to the gas station and get a 30 pack every day and just sit at home and drink, and it was really really bad. I was at by the end I was drinking probably a 30 pack a day,
Oh wow.
just sitting at my house, and uh, I had a gal that was actually my first wife. We had just stopped dating, and um, my dad called her and was like, I can't. What's going on with Mick? I can't get a hold of him. Um, by this time, my work had been knocking on my door. I think the police knocked on my door a couple times, and I just wouldn't answer the door. My ex still had a key, so one day she came over and keyed into my house, and obviously walked into a total disaster, and woke me up in my room and said, "Let's go. You're going to treatment."
Right.
And right there, I just gave it all up. I knew it was over. I mean, I drank probably for 20 years at that point.
Wow.
14, 14 to 34. So, um,
Wait, you started drinking at 14?
yeah, 14.
Wow. I thought I was young.
I was a freshman in high school, um, and the summer before, summer before my freshman year, I was hanging out with kids that were about to be seniors for some strange reason. I don't know how. I think I worked with one of them at a store or something, and they thought it was funny to get me drunk, and it was fun, whatnot. And but looking back, that hanging out with them probably wasn't the best idea
Right.
at that age. But that's kind of how I got started at a very young age.
Okay.
And in
Yeah.
Wisconsin, I mean, as you know, the rumor is that's all they drink, that's all they do there, and it really, I mean, that's the truth. That's
Really?
that's pretty much all there is to do there. I mean, there's other things to do. You can go fishing, you can go ice fishing, but I mean, that's the culture, if you will. I mean, that drinking is pretty much what they do there.
Wow. So how does that transition? Because now I'm not sure if you're familiar, so I'll give you a little backstory. And if you are familiar, then just let me know you're familiar.
Hmm.
There is a guy by the name of Brandon Walker. He's on Barstool. He reports on Barstool. I bring this up because there's a video out there, and it's on the Labs podcast with Kendrick Doggett. Um, Basically, knowing you a little bit, I'm ready for your reply. I'm ready to laugh. His reply to the world was, if you play slow pitch softball, you're basically a loser. You have no athletic ability. He kind of lays into all of us a little bit.
Hmm.
Then he doubled down because a guy by the name of Mac Rio out of California
Familiar.
challenged him and said, for everybody that thinks softball is easy, this
I
is
saw that video.
that. I don't know if you saw the
I
video.
saw the video.
Okay. That video came on the heels of Brandon Walker saying, basically calling everybody that plays slow pitch softball a loser.
Hmm.
He doubled down um, and said, well, I stand by what I said. And yeah, I won't go on the pitcher's mound, but I'll go to shortstop. He's hitting off of a tee. It's not hit that hard. And said he might even be able to catch one with his bare hands. So, Mr. Czar, how do you feel about that?
Uh, let me say that I'm 5'11", 205, so I'm not one of the bigger guys, but I've played with a couple guys who with a senior bat, I'm up around 100 now. My exit velocity. I've got guys that I've played with that are, man, Cannell, Brambilla, played with those guys in a couple tournaments last year. those guys have to be up around 120 or maybe 120 plus with a senior
Mm,
bat.
uh, oh, with the senior bat, that's
Yeah,
right.
with a
Yeah,
senior bat, with a
yeah,
senior
yeah,
bat,
yeah.
and it's stupid. I can't even imagine. I've seen Mac Rio hit the ball in his videos and whatnot. I don't know what he's hitting. What do you think he's hitting? 105, 110?
I think he's recorded at like, yeah, between that, like 107-ish type
Right.
deal. So
Yeah, that's insane that that guy would say that. Obviously, maybe and this just reminds me, I was just reading something. Apparently, Skip Bayless called Barry Sanders overrated. So, and Skip Bayless's job is to create controversy. Maybe this guy was trying to create some controversy by saying that. I don't know. It's stupid though.
it is, it not only is it stupid, but to say you're barehanding it,
Yeah,
um, I could send you the clip. Again, you could watch it on the last podcast. I kind of chopped it up a little bit after I had asked Kendrick Doggett about it, but um, yeah, and Mac Rio said, "Look, we'll give you $500 or $1,000. Come out here, we'll fly
yeah.
you out. If you can catch one, we'll pay you. But if you don't, you have to pay us. But you can keep your flight." The guy of Barstool, the main guy, I can't think of his name right now,
Uh,
um,
I
said they're out
Dave
of Chicago.
Dave something, right?
Yeah, they're out of Chicago. He said, "I'll pay for him to come out. We can find a Chicago softball field." And then Brandon Walker started to slowly walk it back and go, "I don't know if there's regulation softball fields here in Chicago." What? And then went and said, "Well, I don't even know if that guy plays anymore." What? Macrio's not that old.
Yeah, no, he plays conference.
So, and he plays conference, correct. Um, so I say all that to say, how do you feel about the average person that thinks they can step on the field? And I'll even include myself on that, with us, meaning us, um, and think that, slow pitch softball is just, oh, a bunch of guys, like, where you said you came from, drinking, and they don't really have no athletic ability. So what are they doing? They're just living out their, let's say, Al Bundy dream.
Hmm.
What do you
Hmm.
have to say to people like that?
I would say that that definitely describes the league that I played on back when I played in the bar league days. Um, maybe maybe in his experience, that's all he's seen. Maybe he hasn't seen what it looks like to see a conference event or any kind of competitive softball event where people can actually run and whatnot. It's yeah, I just think that, or he's just trying to stir up controversy, like I mentioned previously. I mean, that's
Right.
kind of what those guys do around. Portnoy, Dave Portnoy, is the guy from Barstool.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
but
I believe it. I believe it's kind of both. But I definitely messaged Mac Rio and I said, "Look, you want you want to go? I'll go with you. We'll record the whole thing and we'll put it out there. See how his fans feel about it." He's yet to reply. So not Mac Rio. Mac Rio replied to me. Brandon Walker, you have yet to reply to Mac Rio or me for that instance, or anybody from Slow Pitch Softball. So um, yeah, they just believe it's the beer league, and obviously there is beer league, there's church league, where they don't drink and nothing like that. They just go out for the love of the sport.
mhm.
But there is those tournaments on the weekends, those big tournaments, those guys that are like you, the guys that are, the pro players, the guys that are, sponsored, the guys that are conference players, like all of those guys. It's not just regular Al Bundy type guys. There's guys that can hit the crap out of the ball.
Mhm.
And there's a misconception of slow pitch softball. And I do all this to try to change that narrative of slow pitch softball. So where do you think that slow pitch can go versus where it is now? And what is the misconception that, when you tell people you play? Like what's their number one response?
Oh, it's a girls' game. That's the that's the. I think Max said it in his video. When he was kind of mimicking what people say on TikTok or whatever he was talking about. But yeah, it's a girls' game. But hey, I I'd be happy to play with some of the gals that I've seen play slow pitch softball. They can hit it.
I
They
don't
can.
think Brandon Walker can hit catch a ball with a glove from a conference women's player, let
For real.
alone a conference men's player.
Yeah, for real. The women are fun to watch, man. I love it. I love going out there and watching them. They smack it.
Yep. So, yeah, there's a big misconception. So I wanted your take on what you think the or what you would like to say to the people that kind of misconstrued, like you said, there's a girls' game. Why are you playing? Or why do you do this on the weekend? Why do you waste your time? Why do you waste your money?
Why do I do that?
Not just you, just when you tell people that you play slow pitch softball, I'm pretty sure some of I get it. I get it, and I'm not even on your level. I you do what? You on that's the way you spend your weekend? Yeah, that's the way I spend my weekends. I love it.
Yep.
So what do you say to those people when you're asked that? Or when people find out that you're a slow pitch softball player?
I was like, have you ever played? Have you ever even played? Have you played baseball in your life? Um, Sometimes those people are ignorant is because they're those people that are like, oh, baseball sucks, I hate it. Um, it could be that, but also it goes back to the uh, Al Bundy softball, right? Sitting on the couch, being Al Bundy and having dreams of what could have been. Obviously his was football, but
Yeah.
it's baseball for some people. So um, I don't know. Yeah, that's rough. I mean, what people choose to do with their free time is obviously up to them. And man, I love the game. I'm okay at it, so that definitely helps. My love
Just
for it.
okay.
I'm
Just
okay. I
okay.
play a little bit, so that's okay. And I'm a strange dude that likes to run around the outfield, so I love doing it.
I'll tell you what, and then we're gonna get into a little more personal. I remember telling my then girlfriend at the time, she's my wife now. It's like, yeah, I play softball on the weekends, and she was just like, okay. Then I was like, yeah, I'm going to, I forget where I was going. She was just like, for what? I was like, to play softball, and I was like flying, and she's like, wait, like you really like play? And I'm like, yeah, what does that mean though? Like I like to, yeah, I travel, out of state and I play tournaments. I play, different things. And I remember her going, okay. And her okay in woman knowledge was, bro, if you're cheating on me, just tell me that. Like, just, like, why are you making up that you're traveling somewhere to play slow pitch softball? And the next tournament, I remember telling her, hey, I want you to come. She didn't know what to expect. And when we showed up, there was 100 and something teams. And she's just like, all of you guys are here to play softball. And I was like, yeah, uniformed out, just regular tournament. I remember her looking at me after the first like game or two, and she's just like, do you understand what you guys are doing? And I'm like, yeah, I do. So again, I say all that to say, you are married.
Yep.
Um, how did your wife take you playing slow pitch softball when you guys first met?
So it's actually funny because I was gonna try to get this in, but I'm glad that you asked me about it. So uh, let's see, we've been married what 3 years now. Been together I think what 4. So right when we met, I was playing. I was in AAA. I was playing AAA seniors. I was 40, I think 41. Had just started. I think that year, and we were playing in SSUSA Winter Worlds in Phoenix. And I asked her to come out. That being her first tournament out was that one, and that was before COVID. So that was when Winter World here was pretty big.
Right.
Obviously, it's trying to make its way back, I think, but it's not as good as it used to be before COVID. Um, and she, and I was like, I want you to come out and if you I want you to come out and watch softball or however I said it, you want to come out and watch the ball or whatever. And she's like, sure. So she came out and was sitting in the stands, and it was one of those things where it's like, I'd run off the field and I'd be like, like one of the, just like
Yeah.
friends just met and all all that, and
I was doing the same thing.
and I think I hit a triple, and she took a picture of my rear end on third, and like stuff like that when you first meet someone, right? I mean,
Right.
I'm sure there's couples that still do that, but um, just stuff like that, and we ended up winning the tournament. I think we were in a losers bracket from what I remember. I think we were in a losers bracket, and we came back and had to play some unreal amount of games in a row. And we came
Mhm.
back and won Winter World, and it was this big deal. And we're all jumping around, and it was fun, and they're acting like kids. I mean, that's the one thing about me, and some of the higher level players don't understand about me is I've been playing that long, so this stuff is a big deal to me. I get
Right.
excited about playing, and I'm almost like a kid out there, which is kind of immature sometimes, probably, but in a good way, right?
Right.
I'm happy to be here. I'm so glad to be out here, with you guys and whatnot, kind of way. But yeah, she's like, this is so strange. But she got to know some of the girls on the team and whatnot. I mean, and after that, I think half of us moved up to major. So obviously, the girls that she had just met, she probably didn't see them too much anymore after that, because you know how it goes with softball teams, especially when you're moving up.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, she definitely wasn't expecting. I mean, I told her, like, I'm a baller. I just started playing. I love it. I think I'm gonna keep doing it. So she knows what she signed up for. But we'll see how that all goes as we move forward. I get pretty much, I don't have any kids of my own. Um, Nicole has a couple. My wife's name is Nicole. She has a couple kids from her first marriage, and they're older,
Okay.
so um, she's the best. I mean, I can pretty much, as long as she gets one date night a month, she's okay with that. And then I can pretty much have free reign to pretty much do whatever I want as far as ball goes and whatnot. So,
Me and you sound like the same because I've been this year I'll be married 3 years. Kind of the same. Been together for like four. I told my wife, look, I don't care what else we do with our life. During football season, I want to watch football on Sunday, Thursday, Monday, whenever football's on. And when I'm asked to play in a softball tournament, just let me play. You can have everything else in the world. Just when I'm asked to play in a tournament, let me play during football season. I just want to sit at home and watch football or go to a football game or go to, hang out with the boys at the tailgate or whatever. It's worked out for me so far. um, but yeah, it's that odd. You try to tell them what you're into,
mhm.
and then they see it, and they don't realize that it's a, let's call it what it is. It's fun for us, but it's a business for some as well.
Mhm.
And there's big business in this, with the uniforms and the bats, which you have behind you. We're gonna get into that in a second. Sponsorships and especially U-Trip with the broadcasting. This weekend they're doing challenge cups. So I don't. Some women understand it. I'm pretty sure your wife now understands it. My wife understands it. My wife refuses to go to certain tournaments now because I'm like, man, it just costs less if you just don't go. Because my wife,
Yeah.
I'll go with some water, my twisted teas. Shout out to twisted tea. Um, I'll go with my water, a couple twisted teas, and I'm happy with that. My wife goes with like her personal charcuterie board and chips and soda and this and that. And I'm like, babe. And then, of course, I don't know how you are, but I don't eat while I'm playing. I'll wait until the tournament, for the day is over. But I'll go to Burger King, McDonald's. Nope, my wife wants to go to Longhorn or hours. So I'm like, man, I got to be up at 8 o'clock in the morning to play a game. Like, and it's 8 o'clock now. I got 12 hours to eat, digest this food, get some sleep in, and be back at the fields. So my wife really doesn't go to tournaments. I love my wife, babe. I love you. Um, but there's quite a few people that thought my wife was fictitious at one point because she just didn't come with me. Um, but yeah, man. So now we got into all of that, and you newly are. We have the bats behind you. Um, what's your? I guess I shouldn't say your position, but you newly just posted something on Facebook. Um, Share with the people what it is.
Yeah. So, well, I'll start from so last January, so a year ago, I started working with Ronnie Salcido um, here in Arizona. Um, just kind of working as kind of like his satellite rep, kind of his assistant. I get my product from him, and then I help him get that distributed out to the public. And was very fortunate to get um, a roster spot on JK last year. Um, Started in December, and I think I ended up playing through like June or July with them. Um, and that, I was able to play with some amazing, amazing players. I mean, I mentioned Canel Brambilla earlier, Kevin Bazat, Johnny Bailey, Bryson Baker, all played on that team. Everybody knows who those guys are. So very, very, very fortunate to get an opportunity to play Major Plus and to play on that team. Jay Hill gave me a shot, and I played Toys for Tots with them in December, and then he asked me if I wanted a roster spot. I said it was going to be, a reserve, which I was fine with. I mean, I'm newer to the game, right? And um, I was able,
Explain to the people what that means for those that might not know.
a reserve player.
Yeah.
So I would, since I'm an outfielder, I would be a runner for sure for guys that needed a runner, and then he had said that he would, put me in defensive specialist situations when they needed, a fast outfielder out there because sometimes, outfielders are great hitters, but they might not be the fastest, right?
Right.
But I would go out there and play some, some key defensive situations, and I'm like, I'll do whatever. I want to play with these greats. These guys have been doing it forever, and I want to get some experience. And I went out there and I got way more playing time than I was told, um, which was great. I got to uh, what do you call it in Sacramento in August after I got cut. Long story short, I got cut, and then I got asked to come back and play that tournament with them. I played the whole tournament in center field. We won that whole thing, so that was great. I got a chance to go out there and kind of show people what I could do, and um, played some tournaments away and did okay, and some people noticed. I guess it definitely helped having Johnny Bailey and whatnot, make posts about me, and I think he made one post about me and helped me get my name out there, and I'm on social media a lot, so I mean it does probably take a little bit of self marketing, if you will.
Yep.
Um, but man, it was a great experience to play with those guys. That's how I got started. Was playing with those guys out there on JK, and now I've been rambling so long I forgot what the question was.
Um, the new position, if you say the
Oh
new
yeah, so
position.
now I've been given the opportunity to become a Easton Miken Worth Senior Pro for 2024. Is the title.
Okay.
So
What does that look like for you? Shout out to Jason Kendrick, good friend of the room, friend of the show.
yes,
Um,
great dude,
yeah,
fantastic.
I
We
mean,
both work with him.
yeah,
Doing ultra drafts, and he's the most humble, 10 major World Series ring having dude I've ever met.
bro. I just so you know, this is a plug, but Mike and Easton Worth are official sponsors of the podcast as well. So it is what it is. I don't care at this point. It's out there. It's out in the universe. A lot of people know that I work with we call him Kendo. A
Yep.
lot of people know I work with Kendo, and it is what it is. but Jason Kendrick is by far one of the genuine, nicest, upstanding. I mean, everything you want to say about a person that is just. I mean,
Has done what he has done in the game, right?
yeah, and he's super humble.
Yeah.
Because I had a conversation with him the other day, which we'll talk about it offline. Would like your input on it, but I can't say it right now. Um, and I was just looking at a an article that was written top 100 players. Kendo is number 17.
Hmm.
Top 100 players of slow pitch softball, and Kendo's number 17.
Yep.
And by the way this man carries himself, by the way he will give you the shirt off his back. Am I wrong?
Not at all.
You will never believe that he has the accolades that he has because some slow pitch softball play or players in general, let's not just say slow pitch, players in general, whether you play a sport at a high level, they always feel like they don't need to give back or you owe them something, not they owe you something. Kendo is complete opposite, in my opinion.
Hmm.
You can tell me if I'm wrong, you can tell me if I'm right, but so with given this opportunity, how do you feel? What do you think the future holds for you with Mike and Easton Worth?
Man, I mean, as you and I talked about offline, I have a marketing degree, so sales is my thing. It's been, for years. I would like to at some point become an employee, like a salaried employee. Do kind of like what Mike Dill does or Ronnie does, and or Megan, and kind of do like the mobile hit lab thing where they drive around to tournaments and whatnot. That's a pretty cool gig.
Yep.
Um, I don't know what my wife would say about that, but she knows that I want to do that.
Okay.
I would love to work for the company in a regular position at some point. That for me, that's the goal. Right now, I'm just doing my best to play as best as I can to represent the brand as best as I can. Um, you know, be I don't know, just kind of be the person that I am, and get their name out there and sell bats. I guess. I mean, that's kind of what I do at this point. I got
Well,
people reaching out to me all the time right now, from all over Facebook and everything, asking for bats, which is great. And I mail them out. I go to UPS almost every day, so that's nice.
do you have a code already? Because we'll put the code.
I'm told that I get that after Challenge Cup.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
I'm
That
kind of
works.
this kind of in the same boat, but
That works.
um.
So,
So you brought up bats. So let's transition to this. What does Mickey Zarr swing?
so right now I'm swinging the Mario Foster, the One Piece Senior. I'm sure you heard about it. Um, this year's the 2024, the green one.
Mhm.
Uh, I swing that in weather that's 65, 70 degrees or over, and then I'm swinging the 2023 Foster, the red one, in weather that's under 65 degrees.
Okay.
Uh, that barrel or that bat is a has a thicker barrel. It's more of a BP bat, cold weather bat, very durable. It takes a few hundred to break that red one in. The green one takes 20. I mean,
Okay.
maybe 10 or 20 for me. Real quick, funny story on that green one. When that came out, I didn't even know about the bat, right? It just came out, I don't know. I think the first time I saw it was U Trip Worlds when I was playing with Front Row, and Greg Cannell was playing with JK still, and Record was playing, and they were both using this bat, and I'm like, and of course I'm seeing Cannell hit his usual 450, 500-foot bombs, and I'm like, what bat is he using? So I reached out to him after the tournament, and I was like, hey man, I'm like, how many swings does it take to break in that bat? And he messages me back, one.
One.
Yeah, one, and I just started laughing. I'm like, well, it must be
Wow.
hot out of the wrapper then. So I got a hold of one. I was a two-piece guy before. I was using the Mike Dill two-piece. But once I got a hold of that bat, it was over for me. And then I actually switched my 240s to one pieces now too.
Okay. All right.
When I play kids ball every now and again.
Kids ball?
Well, men's under
Oh,
40.
under 40, under 40. That's what I was gonna ask. What do you swing when you're not playing senior?
So I just picked up a one piece tantrum, and nothing compares to it that I've ever swung. It's a 240.
How do you feel? Again, listen, like we said, Mike and Easton Worth, they help us, we help them. You mentioned the tantrum. How do you feel about one? How do you feel about the tantrum? We'll take it there first.
It's
Is it
ridiculous.
everything that everybody's hyping it up to be?
It's ridiculous. There are times when I hit the ball and I feel like it almost feels like I'm using a senior bat.
Really?
Yeah,
That's the first time I've heard that.
it's it's silly, man. Um, it's crazy.
Okay, so
I wouldn't compare the two like apples and apples, but it's man, it's just behind it. I'm just talking about the feel of it.
now there has been some floating going around, and I had this conversation with Kendo when we were in Valdosta recently. Um, how do you feel that certain bat reviewers, well, before I get into that question, do you watch any YouTube bat reviewers at all?
Yeah, yeah.
You can
So
shout them out. I don't.
I'll watch Vasquez here and there, David Vasquez here and there. Some of the Fat Boys BP stuff, and then I also we go on with John Bartel on his program to bat flip BP.
Yep.
We actually work with John here in the Phoenix area, and whenever we have stuff come out, we'll go out and hit with him and give him a chance to swing our bats and whatnot. Ronnie and I have been out with him once or twice, but we'll definitely keep that relationship going. But yes, to answer your question, I do follow that a little bit.
Okay, but you're also a part of some of the channels too. You said you hit on some of those channels and give your advice or opinion.
I've been on Batflip BP with Ronnie, and I've also been on there with Dave Taylor from Louisville Slugger before that.
Okay.
But we just hit a couple times. People don't really want my opinion on a bat. I mean, I guess maybe some do, but and they don't want, I don't know. I'm an average size guy, so maybe they do. But there's some of those big guys that are real big guys that I don't. People, you see it all the time online. They're like, I don't want to hear this guy's opinion. I want to hear the opinion of a guy who's average size guy. So I guess maybe they do want to hear mine because I'm an average size guy.
Yeah. I'm one of those guys because the conversation we had offline, and a conversation I had with everybody on this podcast so far is I am not a power hitter. I am 6 foot 310. I am not a power hitter. I'll get on base, but that's it. Um, I don't know how I can become a power hitter. I do BP, I do T work. I try my best to get out there and hone the craft, so to speak. But I can kind of place the ball if need be, and get on first. That's where I'm at. Um, there's a couple videos in the universe of me hitting doubles, but once you see me run, you're like, this guy hit a double. Holy crap! How many times did the outfield botch the ball out of their glove? And trust me, I'm slow. But I think you're wrong because with and hear me out. I told you I'm a marketing person as well. Um, with your knowledge of the game, with um your being the regular guy, and where you are right now, I think people want your opinion more than you might think. And I think you're selling yourself short on not giving that opinion more often. Maybe not starting your own channel, maybe going on other people's channels
Mhm.
and working that out. However that might look for you. But I think somebody with your story, um, and where you are right now, I think your opinion is well needed. Obviously, it might be a little bit biased because of your position now, but if you can keep the authenticity and the truthfulness behind it, and not sell, what we do, um, harder than the Louisville and the Onyx and the Protons and Suncoasts of the world, um, I think it would be respected. I think it would be respected more than and the everyday man, like we alluded to a couple times, the Al Bundy, let's say, of the world, might want to hear what Mickey Zarr says.
I think part of that has to do, like, people that know me or people that have dealt with me online or whatnot. I'm honest. When people ask me how a bat is, right, and they're like, "Oh, I tried this," and I'll be like, "Oh, the green Foster's the best thing since sliced bread." I mean, that's what I say, right? There might be one person that says, "I didn't really care for it, so I sold it." I'm like, "Well, here's the deal, right? There might be another bat that we have that you might like, right? That we carry, but if you try our bats or you come out to one of my BPs and try the bats that I have and you don't like any of them, I want you to find a bat that you like. So if I need to call my buddy, Dave Taylor from Louisville Slugger, and you go to one of his BPs and you swing a couple of his bats and you like his bat and one of his bats and you choose to buy that, I want you to do that because I want the customer to be happy, right? I don't want the customer to buy a bat that doesn't perform and feel uh, to their liking.
Correct.
I guess I'm just a realist in that sense. I don't get out there and say the Foster is for you. This is your bad. It's for you. I don't know you,
Right.
but this is for you. I don't do that.
Right. No, I'm the same way, and I kind of, I guess, have to, kind of. I'm honest. I'm a realist. I'm like you said, and I think this is kind of why us three, meaning me, you, and Kendo, get along is just because we are a part of Mike and Easton Worth doesn't mean that's what works for you know what works for us doesn't work for everybody.
Right.
Your feel is different than my feel. Your swing is different than my swing, and we're two people that represent the same company. But your feel might be a little bit different than mine. So, um, second question I had for you as far as bats are concerned is, and the reason why I asked about the whole bat review thing was, have you seen that the yellow and blue Fireflex with the
Oh,
red writing?
the poor man's tantrum.
How do you feel about that?
That's what I call it. The poor man's tantrum.
So I've read that a couple times. I've had the privilege of swinging both,
Mhm.
not on camera, just swinging. How do you feel?
I have. I also have a 20. I have a 26 one piece tantrum and a 26 yellow Fireflex. I had the Fireflex first. I use it as a BP bat. I've never used it in a kids tournament. Um, a
I'm
buddy of
so
mine,
I'm
a buddy of
so
mine.
I'm so happy you called it a kids tournament. I'm gonna use that from now
That's just
on, just so
that's
you
just
know.
I'm 45. I'm 45, so that's kind of that started just from softball buddies here in Arizona. They call it kids ball. Um, so I hit a lot with a buddy of mine who lives in my neighborhood, Josh Moore. I think he plays B's or A's. I can't remember what level he's on, but he's up there. And him and I actually took both bats out one day and hit them both. And the yellow one hits well. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you can put a bunch of hits on it. It's going to open up for you, but it's not the tantrum.
Okay.
It's not the tantrum. I wouldn't use that yellow one in a tournament if I have a tantrum available. I mean, it's just not.
Why?
It just doesn't have the juice. It doesn't have the performance that the tantrum does. Like I said, I mean, I'm literally telling you that it's not quite a senior bat, but it feels close sometimes.
Right. I don't know. Kendall might call me and say, "Hey, edit all of that out." I'm gonna call him right now. No, I'm joking. um, with that said, I do have a couple more questions.
Sure.
We're just shooting the shit.
Yeah.
But so how do you feel about the technology of the bats today? And I know somebody that in the state of Florida, I've mentioned it before on this podcast that he was just an incredible baller. Um, one of the few people that I've heard, I didn't get to witness it, but I've heard um pull triple plays off while he was playing like shortstop. He went to a tournament. They didn't have a pitcher. Like I said, he's very athletic. Um, ball hit him in his head, goes to the hospital, dies.
Jesus.
How do you feel about what the technology is on these bats? And then the second part would be, do you believe that every pitcher or infielder or whatever should be wearing some protective gear?
The technology on the bats is ridiculous. Even over last year or 2022, because it seems like we now have um, majority of softball players want instant gratification. It's called, I believe, right? They want that bat to be hot out of the wrapper. They don't want to go out there and put hundreds of swings on a bat to get it to open up. They want that thing to be ready out of the wrapper. So you're seeing more and more game ready bats, which are hotter than all hell, um, even out of the wrapper, from pretty much all the companies that I can think of off the top of my head right now.
Right.
So with that being said, I don't believe pitchers should even be allowed to pitch without headgear, without shin guards. Um, I
Without
think
chest,
I
in
think
my
it's
opinion, chest protection too. But
yes. I think it's insane. I think uh, you got to be a special dude, man, to a little crazy to get out there and pitch. Period. Let alone not using the appropriate equipment. And I say this all the time as kind of like a joke, but you wouldn't catch me out there pitching unless I had like full hockey goalie gear. Like it sounds silly, right? But it's pretty close to serious. There's no way. It's crazy.
right,
Even pitching BP behind the net and having, my buddy from the neighborhood hitting the ball, 105, 110 past my ear. Um, it's nuts. I work with Steve Imlay. He's 75 years old, and the guy still hits seeds, past my ear in BP. And he's 75 years old, and I'm just like, there's no way.
right. Yeah, I'm not a fan of allowing pitchers to pitch without gear on. I believe shin guards are necessary. I believe headgear is necessary. I believe chest protectors is necessary. Um, some of some of the players get paid to play, but a lot of us, this is just an outlet to that competitive itch that we have growing up. We played sports or whatever. You still got to work in the morning, man. And
Families go home too.
yeah, and just so you know, the young man that I'm talking about, I named him on another podcast, so I won't use his name again. He got married like a couple months prior to this, so he's no longer with us. And in Florida, they started, the you can't pitch without a net or a helmet. I'm a big fan of that. Either pitch with a net if you don't want to wear the helmet, or pitch with a helmet. Don't go out there. Just to me, it's dumb. And these, like you said, some of these bats are hot out the wrapper. They don't want to put the work in. Um, when I first started playing slow pitch softball, I saw guys taking the bats and hitting it against tree bark. mallets, hitting the mallets or whatever. I didn't understand none of that until I started to understand the technology that's going behind the bats. To me, it's not worth it. Like you said, we got families to go home to, we got jobs to go to on Monday morning, and
Mhm.
we're playing a sport that we're supposed to love, or we do love, and we just want to, like I said, get that competitive edge scratched, but we still want to make it home.
Yeah.
So um I just wanted to get your not to bring down the conversation or nothing, but just to get your insight on how you felt about the technology of the bats, and
They're only going to
even go ahead.
the bats are only going to get hotter, and it seems like that's the direction that we're going in.
Yep. So with that said, you can say no comment. I've already had a couple of people say no comment, but any feelings on the Suncoast ban with, you know, certain tournaments, certain sanctions, or I should say.
I don't, man. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about it. I know, uh, man, I know a couple Suncoast people, and their hands are tied. I mean, they're reps and whatnot, and they get continuously bashed on social media and everything. And um, obviously, that's not. It's like when the cable goes out and you call the rep at the cable company and you let that, and some people will let that person have it even though it's not that person's fault, right? That's the person that represents the company and the first person that answered the phone. So you start screaming at them. Not me. I don't do that because I know the difference. But some people will do that,
Yep.
and that's what they are. They're on the front lines, right? They're not sitting in an office somewhere or whatever those folks do who are in charge of that whole thing.
Right.
And they're the ones that get it, and I feel bad for them. That's what I'll say on it. I don't. I mean, besides that, you hear rumors and you hear this and you hear that, but it's just that. I don't know anything more than anybody else would know.
Right.
Oh, that's you know,
No, here I'm the same way.
I just feel
Um,
bad for I feel bad for their reps who just get crushed constantly.
Imagine if that happened to us.
Yeah,
We would be sitting here going, we're
it's not
trying. There's not much we can do.
it's not the rep's fault that that refunds haven't been issued yet. I mean, they just are going with what they're being told.
Right. Right. So what's next for you, man? What you got coming up? What's next on your checklist of boxes to check off for slow pitch?
Man, everything's happened so fast. A lot of boxes got checked off in a really short period of time.
So when you okay, so let me walk this back a little bit. When you first started playing slow pitch, what were boxes that you wanted to check off that are now checked off? And then what do you want to check off that has not been checked off?
Well, man, I mean, when I started, I was playing AAA, so obviously I wanted to move on to major, in seniors, and then when I played majors for a couple years, I wanted to move to major plus, and I've done both of those things. I want a winter world in AAA. That's not a worlds. It's a nice tournament to win. It's not SSUSA Worlds. It's not UTRIP Worlds, right?
Right.
I have never won one of those. We did win NCS Worlds this December with Blue Pill Mafia, which was cool. But again, it's not SSUSA. It's not UTRIP, but it was fun, man. We played a hell of a lot of games in a row and took that one home. So that was fun. That's a big tournament. And I haven't won the big one. I'd like to win SSUSA Worlds and Major Plus or UTRIP Worlds and Major Plus. The team I'm playing with now, Vivid, we start this weekend in Texas. They won UTRIP Worlds last year, so they have the ability to play at that level. So I'm excited to play with those guys, and I have a couple of buddies on the team that are actually from Arizona, so that'll definitely make the transition easier to just starting in there.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't. If I get if I get all tournaments and stuff, that's great. But man, it's about rings to me, and meaningful rings, not those those tchotchke ones that you get at your local tournament. The
No,
uh,
I hear you.
local tournaments are just to get some swings in.
Absolutely. Um, so you mentioned the ultra drafts
Yep.
very briefly. Get into what the ultra draft is, what the ultra draft means to you as a player and director, right?
Hmm.
Um, and what can people expect? Because I know we're going out to Arizona. So I'm assuming you're going to be the director of that. As far as I know, anyway. So, um,
Be out there.
what is that? What does that look like for you? What does that mean? What is it for the people watching right now? What can they expect? And I say us because I'm a part of it, but obviously I'm a visitor in your city. So what can people expect? Because this is going to be the first time I'm going to Arizona. So
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah, what can people expect from the ultra draft as a whole, going to Arizona, and then just balling out in Arizona, I guess.
Yeah. So I mean, we just had it here at the end of 2023, and we got hit with some rain. I mean, it rains here probably 10 or 20 days out of the year. It doesn't rain a whole lot here.
Okay.
We got hit with some rain. We had to shorten it up. But I mean, Kendo does what Kendo does, man. He worked with the park. He worked with Bob Fuller, who's our U Trip director here. That's the sanction that we use in the state for the ultra drafts, and we still got some games in. There still ended up being a champion at the end, and um, people were happy still. I believe he offered some refunds to some folks, or at least a credit if they come back for another one.
Yep.
Uh, he and we talked about him earlier. I mean, he makes it right. He just makes it right. Whenever someone has an issue, he takes care of it. And that's, I think, as one of his directors, or assistants, or whatever you want to say. I think that we have to keep that going because that's what people are gonna remember about the experience. Is how, hey, this got jazzed up because we've only been doing this for a year. Things are going to get jazzed up, but Kendrick took care of me, or Mickey took care of me, or whoever took care of me, right? That's,
Yep.
I think you have to do that, especially when you're new. Um, it's, I'd really like to see us have enough people at that one to have a senior division. Um, I think that was the goal from the start, was to have, an under 40 and then a seniors division at any one we can get enough people at. That'd be
Yeah.
fun. But if not, everybody has a good time mixing ages too.
Yeah. We just did it at Dosto. We had a senior division. It wasn't too many teams, but
Right.
it was pretty cool. And of course we got now because of everything we do, the exclusive bets.
Dude, and I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, I'm really excited for those, and the Greg Cannell tantrum, One Piece. He,
Signed, by the way, by him.
yep, he's gonna sign. I believe he's gonna sign all 500 and whatever it is, 79 or 49 of them. Um,
49. Yeah, something like that.
and we also have that Worth Mayhem.
But no, it's a collective group of people um that love the sport, I would like to say. And we're all from different walks of life. We're all from different areas. We all bring a special um something to the table. Um I like our chances on doing this on a bigger scale.
I do too because of who we have as our leader. It helps to have somebody who's done so many great things in the game and takes such good care of people. Also, the prize packs. I mean, you can't beat the prize packs that he gives out, man. A bat um, this past year, and now with these exclusive bats. I mean, this is going to be this
Different.
is going to be the best ticket in town for an ultra draft to get one of these limited edition bats that you can only get in the ultra drafts.
Yep. And trust me,
And if you're a
This
collector, if you're a collector and you want a Greg Cannell signed One Piece Tantrum, black and red, you can get that by playing in the Ultra Draft. But that you can't get it from Easton. You can't get it from I don't,
the only way you can get it is playing. Like
yep.
even we can't get it. I mean, like I kind of tried. I was like, man, come on, I
Hey,
want to give one away on my group. He goes, nope,
we
you got to
both know
play.
a guy. We both know a guy, but that guy is that guy is very committed to getting those out into the public's hands.
Correct, and you got to
Really
commend him
well.
for that. So,
Mhm.
I'll close it out with this. So I've gone on to asking a question that I got from another podcast. So, I'll say that they're a basketball sports podcast and trying to grow the channel and everything.
Mhm.
Did you enjoy this interview?
Oh, absolutely.
Um, with that being said, if you can name three people that you believe in a slow pitch softball world that would enjoy sitting down with me and having a conversation about slow pitch softball, one, who would you name? And two, those names you have to help me get on my show.
Well, one I'm gonna say for sure is Johnny Bailey.
Okay.
Um, he's he works with us in our hitting clinics with Imlay and the hitting clinics. He's one of our instructors. He's also a senior pro as well for Easton Miken. Been doing it all for a long time. Fantastic with people. I can't speak for him, but I can definitely try to help you get him.
Yeah, no, it has to be people that you believe will enjoy the podcast and sitting down having this conversation. But like I said, the other flip side is you have to help me. If it be an introduction or something, just start the conversation.
Yeah, I'll
So
definitely mention to him.
two other people,
We text probably every other day, so yeah, I'll ask him. Um,
and obviously you can't name the one that we have in common. You
yeah,
can't
no.
name Kendo.
The thing is you'd have to really pry to get him to even talk about himself. That's the thing.
Oh, it's happening. It's coming.
It's
But
it, Man,
he's dealing with a lot of stuff. So
bro. It was hard for me to get him to talk about his softball career.
oh, it was too. But when he got me from the airport and we were like just in conversations over the phone and text messages, I'm like, he's not gonna say nothing about nothing that he does.
Yeah.
And then now, if we have some time, don't quote me on this, but if we have some time, when I go out to Jacksonville, I'm bringing all this equipment. Oh, we gonna sit down because I know he's busy sometimes. So he says, "Oh, just let me know a time. Hey, can we do?" Or he doesn't answer because he's busy, which I understand. But oh, he's coming on here. He has no choice at this point. So
It'll definitely help. It'll definitely help get the word out about the ultra drafts too. So
yeah,
that's kind of a no-brainer.
two
We're
other people.
marketing guys. We get it. See, here's the thing: is man, that's a tough question because I have to be able to get them. Um, and there's guys that help us out with. What if I? Oh, I can get Steve. I can probably get Steve for you.
See, I wasn't gonna tell you to do that. I'm just
I can get
I'm
Steve. I,
just
I can probably get Steve for you. Steve.
let him go out on his and ride off to the sunset doing my podcast.
A lot of people, it seems like a lot of people, like the younger people, don't know who he is, but he does have his name on that Suncoast Legends of the Game bat, that orange one. So um, he's in multiple Hall of Fames. Fantastic, one of my fantastic mentor for me, and I can get him. That I can. I'm fairly certain that I can get him.
Okay, you got one more. Who's it gonna be?
Uh, I think Ernie Olgan would be a good one. Ernie is the coach of Blue Pill Mafia. He has We just won NCS Worlds, so and then and then Blue Pill finished what fourth or fifth in SSUSA Worlds and Majors, so they got bumped to Major Plus in both of those sanctions, and he's also been a Major Plus coach before. So I think he would be a good one. He'd be nice and candid on here, and I think well, he is also our Challenge Cup coach for Arizona
Okay.
for the comp, so for uppers. So yeah, I think he'd be a good one. I can ask him absolutely. I don't know why he wouldn't. But
Like I said, just as long as you can get me in touch with them, even an introduction is great for me. So,
sounds good.
all right. Mickey, tell the people where they could find you, where they could follow you if they want. We didn't even really get to talk about you and Steve's business. If you want to shout that out, I don't want to get too far into that with, um, if you're not prepared to do
Oh,
all that,
we can just talk
but
about it real quick if you want.
go ahead.
So I kind of wear the shirt. So if you can see this on your SLI Academy, Steve Imlay is a fantastic teacher. He actually used to be a teacher. Now he's been doing this business, teaching softball hitting for what I think 10, 15 years. Things really, really, really taking off. I came on to start helping him with the marketing and social media aspect of it, and we go out on the road together and do clinics in different parts of the country. We also do them here in the Phoenix area. Um, a lot of great results. SLIacademy.com. Otherwise, we have a Facebook page. But yeah, the slow pitch swing is a lot different than a baseball swing. It goes back to that guy from Barstool not knowing what he's talking about.
Yep.
Um, people think that the swings are the same. They are not. To have I've learned so. Steve has taught me so much with mechanics, and you know, now I'm a, 5'11", 200-pound guy that can every now and again hit one 400 feet with a senior bat. So
Every now and again, huh?
every now and again, which is nothing. I've played with guys that hit them 500 feet, so I just sit there and watch them hit.
Gotcha.
But yeah, Steve and I are doing good things out there. Um, like I said, great results. Look us up, Mickey Zarr on Facebook, and same thing on Instagram. I'm not on Instagram too much, but I should probably start.
We can get that rolling for you. Two marketing guys, that's that's a great thing if you want to do it. But I know you're playing Texas this week. Just by the time this is live, it would have been last weekend. What else you got coming up that people can see you playing besides the Ultra Draft later on?
Ugh. So 2 weeks from now, we actually let me see. When's the winter nationals? I'll be playing kids ball. Actually, that's next weekend. So the third, I'll be playing kids ball out at Legacy in Phoenix. Um, I guess we're playing in the open, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Okay.
Get a chance to get that tantrum out there and go up against those 330-foot fences.
Okay. Well, anything else you want to say to the people, man?
Not just a kid from Wisconsin, just enjoying the ride, man. Like I said, I get excited every time I'm out there. I act like a kid when I'm out there. Some people don't like it, but it is what it is.
You're having fun, man.
I'm
That's
having
what
fun.
this game is about, us having fun and kind of reliving our youth while
Yep.
we're kind of, spin the block or spin, around the sun a couple times. And,
Right.
you seem, from me meeting you and talking to you right now, you seem like a person that doesn't really give a damn about what other people think. And I'm the same way. Have fun. That's what life is about.
Yeah, that's why we do it. If I wasn't having fun, I wouldn't be doing wouldn't be doing all this. So, I love the game. Obviously, that's why I'm, you know, kind of getting out, not getting out of real estate. I'm keeping my license, but I'm starting to get involved in work in softball related things, like with the clinics and with the ultra drafts and all that. So, that's what I love to do. So,
Gotcha. With that being said, thank you for tuning in to the Ball is Life podcast right here on Slowpitch World Network. My man Mickey Zarr, they call me Show. Please log on Slow Pitch World Network on Facebook, slowpitchworld.com. Log on. we'll have some things linked where you can reach Mickey and all that. So thank you for tuning in. God bless.